If you don't find my sword, I'm going to buy a glaive. Greetings. This is the Long in the Boot podcast, the podcast coming to you from the heel of the boot of Southwest Louisiana. I am your host, G Long, and sitting across the way is Deb.
Hello, all.
And I'm about to clear my throat right off the bat.
Loser.
Yeah, I know. What can I say?
There it is.
It's because we are coming to you from the heel of the boot and the smog.
It's a phlegmy place. Okay.
And it's a phlegmy place. Hey, if you want to reach the Long in the Boot podcast, the email address is longintheboot@gmail.com. And if you want to catch past episodes of the Long in the Boot podcast, you go to longintheboot.com, and they're all right there.
A multitude of them.
If you want to call and leave a message or just generally kvetch.
Yeah,
sure. Then, you could do that too at 337-502-9011.
There you go. Contact me.
And it's a post-Easter potpourri show.
It is.
We just got some stuff we're going to talk about, and
it's some stuff we found, and we're going to talk about it because we talked about it already.
Well, no,
actually, not all of it.
No,
I told you I had a surprise today.
We talked about a lot of this
because we didn't really have a history. Last episode, we did a history episode,
right? And stuff's been going on, and getting the compound.
The Long in the Boot compound is growing by 3.
Security lighting was installed.
Security
today.
Lighting went up today.
The machine gun nests are almost ready.
We know where the swords are.
And I have found a person down on their luck to be our basic compound sniper. Oh. So there's going to be a guy always hiding in the trees nearby that if you are an uninvited person onto the compound, well, I say your prayers.
Are you talking about our neighbor?
No.
You got something hidden I don't know anything about.
Well, he's going to be a great employee. He's a crackhead. And for $10 a day, he'll be a sniper for us. I can't see any possible way this could go wrong.
Does he have a car? Because how do you even get your supply?
No, I let him live in the woods.
Okay, you've gone too far.
And I gave him a high-powered rifle and a scope and live rounds.
All right, so
and I think it's going to work out. I really do.
I don't think it's going to work out. I think he's not going to be able to get his crack, and he's going.
And I've told him he can hunt and live off the land. So
you could definitely do that out here. I won't deny that. All right, now that you've rambled about whatever I know nothing about.
Potpourri.
Potpourri. Oh, that's it. You could get anything.
So anything by the way, this just came up, and I thought I would go ahead and throw this out there on this day, April 7th.
Today is the April 7th.
The IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, has announced that they are pulling out of southern Gaza. Now, they say that they're still willing to invade if they need to.
Yeah.
But they have announced today
that they actually will leave Gaza.
The IDF ends active ground invasion and completely withdraws from southern Gaza, which is where they've pretty much pinned everybody.
All right. So they pull out and yeah, I know. I didn't go there. Are you proud of me? They pull out.
Yes.
And they've left rubble. There's no hospitals. There's no grocery stores. There's not even a bodega.
Well, basically they have pulled out. And they have left many unsatisfied people.
Yes. Yes, as so often happens.
And so anyway.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. And
could they have done that on Easter Sunday? If they were going to make that announcement, that might have been a symbolically.
They could have done it sooner, but they needed to go ahead and kill 7 innocent doctor types.
Oh, that's right.
Doing humanitarian
make sure that the hospital was completely
completely destroyed and unusable, and and then also bomb an embassy in another country
to stir the pot even more and try to get the U.S. in.
And that caused hundreds of thousands of people in Israel to come out and protest all of it. And suddenly today, and Israel in the story says, the United States has absolutely nothing to do with this.
Yes, Joe
decision.
Biden's firm, stern language hasn't caused us to stop this.
Well, you know that
It's obviously our kind hearts.
Yeah, you know good and well that we were in Netanyahu's ear going, hey, man, this is all going really wrong. Because they can't be a pariah nation.
So long? Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we didn't.
Anyway,
I didn't.
That was daytime today. I just
it is good news in some respects.
It's good news,
but it shouldn't have happened at all. And true. Yet, here's the reality of it.
Okay, so anyway, potpourri episode. We're gonna get some.
We've had spring break. This is the final final Yuha.
Yuha. The hell are you talking about?
Like a Yahoo, but a Yuha.
What's wrong with you?
It's the final, day.
You got verbal lesdixia.
Very good. Lesdixia.
That's right.
All right, stop. You're gonna make me laugh, and then it'll be uncontrollable, and I'll make some kind of inappropriate joke with lesdixia. Okay, that's what she said. Okay, are we controlled?
I'm fine. Okay. I don't know what
the end of spring break. It's been very, very productive. We've got a lot done.
It's true. I've gone up many levels on
your game. You've had some game time. We've done a lot of moving. Scarlett ended her moving encounter Easter Sunday about 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, it was late.
It was very late. But the last week we've gotten a lot done. And you know what? I understand how excited my father was when we moved back here with the kids. Because,
when you moved back with the kids.
Well, yeah, you were here. That's all. And now my daughter is here. Yeah. So, yes. Very excited.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
All right. So, there's that.
And
on the personal level.
Yeah.
All right. Now, let's move to the realm of everybody's level.
What you got?
Well, you know what tomorrow is?
Monday.
It's Schrödinger's apocalypse.
Oh,
it's either the end or it's not, and it'll just be Monday. I personally think it's just
what's happening?
I personally think it's just going to be Monday. We have an event of grand proportions.
What's going to happen?
It's incredibly rare, so rare that thousands have spent thousands to go possibly see it, but probably not because nature don't give a front about you and your...
And it's so rare that only many, many, many thousands of people have gone through these over the history.
It's so rare time. That it happened in 2017, and
it's so rare that they have records for it as far back as 1200 written for sure.
Yes, our founding fathers
in Ireland they have petroglyphs that seem to indicate an eclipse. That goes back to 3340 BC.
In the U.S., the first recorded solar eclipse was in 1778, according to NASA. The eclipse was visible from the Carolinas to New England. It was noted by Thomas Jefferson at Mount Vernon Museum. He wrote about it. Washington's troops also noted the event in their diaries.
Well, a lot of people, are saying
now clearly we weren't alive then, but we all were alive in 2017.
But here's the thing, and I think this is the important bit.
I don't know why I keep putting my hand out.
I don't either. I'm not throwing anything at you.
You might.
The important bit is those people in Ireland that did the petroglyphs. That's carved in stone for you folks that don't like those fancy words. Anyway,
how insulting of you! Our audience they're intellectuals.
I'm educating.
Well, but I don't demean my students by putting them down while I use big words.
Okay.
All right. Carry on.
Yeah.
I just had to chastise you for that.
Okay. I was trying to make a point that everybody's saying, end times and it's going to be the end of us all. And those people that did those petroglyphs, where are they now?
They're dead.
So there you go.
So it must have been real.
It must have been true.
Okay. So it's not as rare as some are making it.
It's pretty common.
As far as nature goes, it's pretty impressive. However, you know what I'm going to be doing during the eclipse tomorrow? I'll be in my classroom.
The same thing I do every Monday.
I'm just going to be in my room doing things. But for some strange reason, events like this just bring out the wildness in people and the speculations. And there's conspiracy theories. There's one on social media right now that says that we're going to have a massive human sacrifice.
Ooh, nice.
I know. Are they sacrificing themselves? Who's sacrificing them? Is it a result of the solar eclipse itself? I don't understand. I haven't read it all, but massive human sacrifice.
Well, I've been seeing
Cats lying with dogs.
Yeah. Dogs living with cats.
We had an earthquake in New York on Friday. That just ramped up the speculation.
And my favorite congressperson, and I say that with a great deal of
do you have her
trepidation.
quote? I have that.
Do you have it?
I do.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, everybody's
here we go.
favorite Cro-Magnon female.
God is sending America strong signs to tell us to repent. Earthquakes and eclipses and many more things to come. That sounds like Trump. I pray that our country listens.
And, it's
What
good.
are the many more things?
Well, she's right about repenting. She would know since, of course, she's had to ask for repentance many times, especially
She's
recently.
human, of course she has. She's fallen to
with
her knees many times.
Yes, but she also proclaims to be like an authority on this kind of stuff. So I'm
clearly,
just pointing out that.
Well, she's speaking like she's a preacher and telling everybody that they need to repent. We're going to have more earthquakes and eclipses. Are we going to have more earthquakes and eclipses and many more things?
We will have many more earthquakes and many more eclipses as time continues going.
As somebody in the comment thread noted, there are approximately 1,700 earthquakes in the U.S. every year, about 4 a day across the country. So she's right about many more earthquakes.
And eclipses.
It's
just math.
Approximately every 18 months, and we predict them. I mean, science.
There's a little book called The Principia. It was written by Isaac Newton. If you'd like to understand how the heavenly bodies move, that would be the book for you. I'm not saying you can read it because God knows I couldn't, but it does explain all of the movements of the heavens quite well, and you'll understand that eclipses are nothing to be worried about. It's not like the Earth or the moon are changing directions.
Okay, well, here we will change directions slightly. We've got the far right conspiracy theorists, right? They say that the elites are going to use the eclipse to control humanity.
And how is that?
They're going to sway the election and everything. They're going to control it. I don't know how the eclipse is going to make them control things. They're not real clear on that. I don't know why this is ushering in the apocalypse, but it seems like every time something happens, they want like the end to come.
Well, the Vikings believed that an eclipse occurred when the wolf Skoll pursued the sun goddess Sol across the sky, finally catching up with her. If he succeeds in swallowing Sol and plunging the world into darkness, that is the beginning of Ragnarok, a battle between the gods and the end of the world.
Oh, I know that history. I saw it in a movie.
Yeah, well, there you go.
All right. Well, you know what I know for certain? That we don't know anything for certain.
What I like is so many of these ancient mythologies about eclipses have to do with like a dragon swallowing the sun. In China, in South America, it's a leopard swallowing the sun. In Vietnam, it's a giant frog who swallows the sun. And in Korea, it's a pack of dogs.
It's whatever's relative to their
in those ancient
cultures,
all of them. The thing that they had in common, people would come out and they would bang on pots and pans, or
that's like we talked about at Christmas time.
Anything to make a big commotion.
Yes.
And then
scare them off.
And it worked every time.
Oh, well.
The darkness went away.
So we just need to make a lot of noise.
That's right.
Oh, wait. We have the internet. We already make a lot of noise as a society.
I think I like the Native American tribe believed the sun and the moon were having children. A reference to the stars and planets that appear visible during the eclipse but can't otherwise be seen.
Under the darkness.
Yeah. Well.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So there you go.
Now let's take it to the realm of intelligent people and school systems and how they're handling.
Oh wait,
the eclipse.
We forgot the warning.
What?
This is true. Pregnant women should not look at an eclipse.
And children under 7.
Food should not be prepared during
the eclipse. Okay.
And school should definitely not be happening during an eclipse. At least it's not across the country.
Every school system across the viewing area, I guess, has had to come up with an eclipse plan.
It's so silly.
We have to have an eclipse plan.
And it's perfectly safe to look at the sun.
Shut up. Oh, actually, hang on. Did anybody lose their sight in 2017, right? Because that was the most recent.
That was the last.
Okay, so.
Please, yes.
Anecdotally, they have about 100 stories, fewer than 100 people report some sort of eye damage. And the only one legitimate news story I could find was glimpsing at the solar eclipse for just 20 seconds caused permanent eye damage.
Awesome.
To where's her name? Nina Payne. Nina Payne. She thought she was wearing the appropriate safety goggles, but apparently
why would she have thought that?
They weren't. So I don't know if they were malfunctioned. One story said they were faulty.
Clearly.
So now my concern is China.
I'm sorry.
Is China sending us faulty solar eclipse glasses to blind the country?
How does that go, the return? Hello, I'd like to return these glasses. Ma'am, I'm over here. Oh, yeah, there's something wrong with them. Well, ma'am, they're clear.
I don't want to belittle Nina Payne's pain, but she had photochemical burns to her eyes. The condition has no known treatment. So for God's sakes, people.
Let me go ahead and help everyone out with this whole thing, including all of the idiots that are currently on their way to Texas.
Are you insult? Oh, you're. Okay.
Oh, yes, I am.
Okay, those people.
If you're going to see the eclipse, you better go way west.
Yeah, well, we all know the weather doesn't care, and it's either
you're not going to see it.
If it's going to happen, it's going to.
We heard our own weatherman say, "Well, you won't really notice much of a change because you won't be able to see the eclipse." It's still going to get freaking dark.
It will get dark. It'll get darker. Yes, there'll be a shadow cast, and I've seen it before. Seen it.
Yeah.
All right. I'm being cynical about the whole thing.
Yes, indeed.
If I had a small child and I'd get the glasses and I would
poke
use
a hole in the cardboard or
use
whatever.
it as a learning experience. But then after that, it's like, all right, we've done that. Now, if I'm a scientist and this is my job and that's what I do and I'm interested in that kind of phenomenon, then it's a different step. But
the thing is, more people will be able to see a nearly full eclipse.
Well, our school system is allowing kids, the parents can check them out.
Which they can do it, I should point out.
At a half day, and they don't, it's excused.
It's excused?
It's excused.
It's an excused?
Yes.
Hey, kids, tell your parents, y'all can get out tomorrow. In fact, I'm encouraging every student to leave in the middle of the day.
There's at least 20% of moms out there going, there is no damn way.
And remember, look directly at the
home.
Eclipse.
Shut up. Science teachers all have to do their thing.
No,
all right. So the eclipse, big major event. There you go. 2028 or 2024, 2010.
Yeah.
I don't even know what year it is anymore. Dear Lord. Was there anything else you already had that you wanted to talk about? Because I really only have one thing, and I'd like to wrap with that. So I'd like to wrap.
You can't steal the wrap.
I can steal the wrap.
I'm the last. I'm the wrap guy.
No, no. I don't think so.
I don't understand.
It's potpourri, baby.
I don't know what's happening.
You need to be prepared. What is your pot full of?
It's going to be full of pasta here in a little while.
Yes, pasta salad for dinner.
Yes,
because it's a nice warm day. It's an appropriate dinner.
All right. Well, since talking about schools, I've got a couple of things here.
Oh, is it serious?
Not exactly. So a new survey highlights how fear-based parenting drives phone-based childhoods.
Oh.
Because when they actually talk to parents who complain about their kids' cell phone usage.
Okay, in their home?
All the time.
Oh, okay.
It's ruining. Think about all the legislation out there.
Yes.
Social media,
we
this,
get rid of TikTok, and what's the damage? We want to know from psychologists and doctors.
A majority of American parents want kids to have full access to their phones at school.
Oh my God.
In addition, most parents think cell phones have a positive effect on their kids' lives.
Oh.
Debates over teens and smartphones often contain an explicit premise that parents want their kids to stop living what is known now today as the phone-based childhood.
Oh,
that's actually a psychological term.
You got to be able to study this and see what the effects are. Of course, it'll be too late, but
most people parents think that phones are negatively impacting their children's lives.
Okay, well, did they give you a percentage? If you say most parents think, did they say what's that percentage?
Well. Yeah, I have that, but I hadn't got to it yet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Slow your roll there,
well, I got
little
questions.
missy.
I have questions.
So the ascendancy of the phone-based childhood and the decline of play-based childhood, that's what most people see.
Okay.
Many people see it as a one-way flow. Phones came along and wiped out kids' desire to play.
Now they create.
The guy that did this study said, well, there's something different going on. we have parents being fed a diet of fear for their children
through the phone,
through media.
Yeah.
So they begin to fear everything in the offline world, and they have instilled this fear into children, by the way.
Oh.
Individual families in American society more broadly started denying children independence, autonomy, and unstructured free time.
Yeah, to just go do things. Well, but now they're creating on the internet. They're creating their little world pages and.
Well, that's the thing, because fear came first.
Yeah,
the fear thing started before social media and before internet. So this fear built up. So then.
Don't let your kids out.
Right. So now you've got no independence, no autonomy, no unstructured free time. What's to fill the void?
They've got this phone.
And here comes phones. Screen time has filled the void that parents, politicians, police, and culture as a whole had already created. Mm-hmm. So we created the hole for that virus of a phone to fit right into.
To feed them that creativity, to feed them that input. But it's vicarious.
The number one reason that parents want their kids to have their phones, and this is for K through 12.
Safety.
To be able to call their parents in an emergency. Think about that as, okay, we've got this fear-based thing about school shootings, right? Think about what would happen.
But it's not about
in reality.
It's not about school shootings.
It is.
In most cases, it's about I've left my gym shorts.
Well, that's what ends up happening.
My teacher wouldn't let me go check out
because the fear is overblown.
And get lunch. I need to check out. So mom, okay.
You see?
Yeah.
So and for kids, having that leash in their pocket is exactly what parents want in a fear-based, because their amygdalas are swollen.
And a lot of the kids feel like it's a safety thing for them too.
79% of parents say, I want my kid to have the phone in case there is an emergency.
Oh my gosh.
This is the scary one though. 70% of parents say, well, if I need to be able to get in touch with my child, I need to be able to contact them.
And they do.
During school.
They do contact them during school. They text them all the time. I've had kids step out to the bathroom.
40% of parents say it's important for my child to call me if they're having a mental health crisis or need anything during the day.
And they do.
First of all,
it's constant.
You 40%, get a job. Well, you wouldn't be at home waiting for your kids to call, right?
At their beck and call.
If you're on a job.
Think about the empty nest syndrome for those parents. Like when the kids are finally gone and they're not calling every second and they're not needing them every second. Maybe they still do when they're adults, I guess. I don't know. That's really disturbing in many ways.
Yeah.
But I see the other side.
And
I'm not raising young people right now.
More than 90% of parents want their kids' tracking on their phones kept on.
Well, I mean, didn't we? Once our kids got phones, you better answer.
Big Brother has arrived.
Oh yeah,
and he is us.
Oh, they're willing. No, my students will give up their freedoms. They absolutely do. Oh, wait a minute. So, did you still have the story about the family
that got
in trouble because they allowed their child to?
Yeah, hang on.
Be free? The cookie story.
I accidentally closed it. I didn't mean to, but I can open it right back up.
Okay.
Because I'm smart.
Well, don't go into. It was a very long story. But
it was. But basically,
this poor family.
I'll just read the beginning of it because it is kind of cute.
And really, the kid just was living the life you and I lived.
So in Canton, Georgia, which is outside Atlanta, this lady has 4 kids. She homeschools them, probably because of fear.
Yeah.
And her husband, Glenn, well, he sounds like a nice guy, telecommutes. Okay, so he's at home too.
Okay.
They're both at home.
Both parents.
All day.
All day with their children.
That's how their kids could probably call them. Anyway, in August of 2018, this is how long ago this story happened, and it's still resolving itself.
Oh, they're still in the system with
yes.
it. Oh, my God.
The Widners, those are the kids, ages 13, 11, 9, and 7. By the way, all still alive, all doing fine.
All survived so far.
Yes.
So far, though.
They were on the swim team at the YMCA, which is 2 blocks from their house.
Okay.
After swim practice one day, they were walking home, and the 7-year-old.
They did every day?
Yes.
Okay.
After every practice.
Okay.
The 7-year-old, Jackson, kind of slowed down and lagged behind. And you know how kids are. Mm-hmm. The kids got away from him going home, and he happened to notice a sign at the grocery store that said, free cookie.
Well,
He's 7.
he was lured.
Free cookie.
Lured.
And now we know that convenience store could actually be a pedophile.
I was going to say it's not a van, but it's still a suspicious sign because people don't just give away cookies.
Yeah, somebody could have built that day just to entice a child.
Trapping poor Jackson.
Anyway, the store employee, being a good employee and a worrywart, instead of asking the kid, just a general question, hey, he calls 911.
Because the kid came in and asked for a free cookie?
He got his cookie, by the way.
Oh. Don't give away the ending.
Then the kid started to leave, and the employee said, you can't leave. The police are coming.
Poor Jackson.
This became part of a pattern. Jackson has an independent streak, shall we say.
Okay.
He's attracted the police no fewer than 3 occasions. I would say that none of these occasions called for him to be attracting police.
Wait, were they all over a free cookie?
2 of them were. Child Protective Services have investigated the family twice. The first time, they found no problem.
Okay.
Good, loving home. But here's the problem. So when Jackson went back
for a cookie,
and the police started questioning him, he refused to talk to them. And he refused to tell, or he talked to them, but he refused to tell them where he lived because he was instructed by his parents not to give information to strangers.
Don't give vital information and even if they wear a uniform. Good parents.
The police. Hey, these are crack police.
Wait.
Noticing that he was wearing swimwear, deduced that he had been swimming and was probably at the YMCA to learn how to swim.
Oh, what investigators.
Man, I'm
Such
telling
detectives.
you.
Okay.
Canton, CSI. The cops, though, were very angry with Jackson and informed him that being out without his parents was a serious infraction of the law.
What law? Did they cite the actual number of the code?
He said, well, I would go home if you would just leave me alone.
I can get there myself.
He's 7. So the police packed him up in the car and brought him home. And then they told the father, hey, it's not safe to let your kid wander around outside. You can't just raise kids like that. It isn't safe.
It isn't safe. Oh, wow.
Glenn, he sounds argumentative. I don't understand. Glenn said that citing statistics that he actually had on hand.
Oh, wow.
Because of the first incident.
Oh, he was ready this time.
That kids today face no greater risk from stranger danger than previous generations, which is true.
Yes.
Nevertheless,
but the media wouldn't let
police
you know
called
that.
Child Protective Services.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh.
So the first caseworker closed the investigation, no problem.
Oh, thank God. Normal person.
But later that year for Christmas, Jackson got a new bike.
Oh no! They gave him a way to.
He asked his mom if he could ride, and she said sure. And an older woman in the park was less than a block away. Older woman at the park stopped Jackson, telling him he was too young to ride his bike alone in the park.
Well, why did she get to determine that?
Because she's an older woman.
So clearly she must be intelligent.
According to Jackson, who rode away and took more circles around the park, and then ducked into the grocery store.
For a free cookie.
For a cookie.
Well, that's a perfect kid day. I rode my bike. I encountered an adult and had words, and then I went for a cookie.
Jackson's mom, Beth, got a phone call. Jackson was calling her using the new watch his parents had gotten him for Christmas. He said, the police want to talk to you. So
I'm worried about these people. They need to start a fund for bail.
Beth got to the grocery store parking lot in about a minute. She found Jackson seated like a suspect in the back of the cruiser. The complaining witness watched as the police let Beth take her son home. Beth wasn't told what to expect, and she didn't hear from Child Services until later about Jackson's flagrant act of being unaccompanied while on a bike.
Again.
Yeah, so full-blown investigation.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, his parents say, look, we told him not to go back to get a free cookie, but it's a free cookie. This time, I'm sorry.
No,
this is the third time.
I know. We got to get to the end of Jackson and his saga here.
This time he goes in and the guy goes, well, we're out of cookies. You want some chicken and fries?
Oh. Well.
Jackson says, sure.
Well, they're never going to get him out of that store now.
Don't give him things. The police then escorted Jackson home, bike and all. Glenn came to the door. The cops said, he said, "We have your son." And Glenn said, "Oh, the cookie recidivist."
Nice.
One of the cops told Glenn he was breaking the law by letting Jackson go out alone. Glenn said, "What law?"
Thank you.
The officer replied, "You can Google it."
No, it's your job to know what the statute is.
The most senior officer accused him of neglect and contributing to the delinquency of a minor and told him not only could he be arrested, but he might face felony charges and spend time in jail. And the CPS caseworker showed up 2 hours later.
Oh, my God. I would say that the contributing factor is the store.
The caseworker then proceeded to spend 3 hours questioning all 4 children at the kitchen table and then provided the parents with a parenting plan.
Oh.
The Wiltners told her, "We're not following that plan."
No.
Upon hearing this, the caseworker warned Wiltners that she would talk to her supervisor. And they didn't hear anything for 2 weeks. And then 2 more caseworkers showed up at the house to speak to Glenn. He wasn't home. She wouldn't talk, and they left.
And then?
So now they are actually having a meeting with the governor in Georgia to talk about getting a law put together that would allow people
to let their kids out.
Meanwhile, Beth and Glenn said, "We're taking our family, we're selling our house, and we're moving to a place that isn't crazy."
No doubt.
And they did. They literally did.
They left Canton.
Jackson, who is now 12, says he doesn't worry about asking for a free cookie anymore.
He can bake his own damn cookies.
He's 12.
He's 12. That's it. I can use the oven now.
But the kids are all fine. They all grew up fine.
Oh, my Lord.
And they're not. They didn't grow up. They didn't grow up dead.
That story made me your fear thing. That was
but that's what it is.
Related. Yeah. Now you have adults out telling you how to raise your children.
And here's the kicker. What do older parents do? They go, "Man, it was so cool when I was young not to have to constantly." My parents never even knew where I was.
I'd leave the house for hours
on a bicycle, and people go, "Yeah, those are the good times."
But then the media scared everybody that somebody's going to steal your children
because you keep seeing examples of it on TV, not realizing that it's still statistically no different than it's been.
You say that, but then I do know somebody who's had that happen to them.
Well,
so the fear, it's a reasonable. It's not totally unreasonable.
But we drive cars.
I know.
And
we rationalize, but we can't lose our kid. We rationalize that we could get in a car wreck.
You can.
Yeah, I know.
You can. That's the problem. We're horrible at assessing risk.
Well, but you know what? Our insurance companies are good at it, and then they scare us.
Yeah.
And make us buy insurance.
More insurance.
Yeah,
so they can then raise the price.
To cover all of the fears of life.
But helicopter parents, man, it's a real problem for these young people growing up.
It's a factor in all of this societal
Okay, so if parents are so involved, why are young people coming out of high school going, "Man, I don't know how to do anything. I don't know how to put money in the bank. I don't know how to do this. I don't know." But
that's our fault at school.
That's what they say. Teachers should have been teaching that at school.
And in some cases, there are certain things that you can say.
And the thing is, independent play growing up taught me, I can't even imagine how much information. Going out and just
learning the world around you. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, and how to deal with people, because
and this applies
you do encounter adults who do give you a hard time.
Sure.
When you're a kid out there.
Absolutely. You have that no unsupervised playtime, even for like daycares, right?
Yeah. Oh, no.
Kids don't solve their own problems anymore.
No.
An adult comes along and pushes them apart. I'm sorry, but
maybe they teach them a strategy if they're actual.
A strategy.
Well,
there's
how
no
to talk
strategy
to the neighbor.
for an ass.
We got to mediate.
No, some people are just. Some people just want to see the world burn, but they've always existed. Is my point.
And we've learned to deal with it to a degree.
And now we have this generation of fear.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
okay. So then,
more than one.
So do you have a solution, a suggestion?
No, but Gen Z does.
Oh, okay.
Their answer is apparently dictatorships.
Authoritarian. I knew we were headed that way.
18 to 25.
The last 10 years have told me that we're headed that way.
In a new poll of Gen Z, Americans are found that these Americans are most prepared to give up some democratic liberties
Yes.
is if it results in more effective government, and are less likely to think that military rule would be bad for the country. These are people who haven't even done any service in the military, but they're willing to give their freedom to the military. Then join.
Yeah, I know. Or, well, if they don't vote, we know that that's what's going to happen.
You know, and so
okay, we don't need any more conspiracy theories.
No, I like it, but Gen Z, just to put it in perspective, about half said that rule by a strong leader, where a strong leader can make decisions without that pesky interference from the Congress, would be a good system of government for the U.S.
Well,
that's called a dictatorship,
we've
morons.
Seen it through history, it doesn't work out well for anybody. Wow.
Yeah, and what happens
except
is
the elites, I guess.
If you look at generationally, you go up to Gen X. Well, millennials first, they're 35% say, yeah, strong leadership without Congress. Generation X, it's down around 10%. And then boomers are like, no.
Yeah. Okay. We've seen it. I've studied the history. I know what happens.
But think about who supports Donald Trump or Joe Biden the most. It's older people.
Yeah.
They're the most locked into their candidate.
Yeah,
right?
That's probably true.
So, and I have a story too about presidents in general being given too much power. We don't have to go there.
No, I don't think it's time for that.
But it's a whole thing about how presidents are actually the divisive people. They're the ones.
They're the figurehead.
They're the focus of all of the division now.
But real people understand that that's not who runs the country.
But they don't. No, they don't.
Oh, you don't think they get it?
And they do run the country more and more. And they're creating a schizophrenic effect in government because all of the executive orders they pass 4 years down the road or 8 years down the road get flipped by the next guy coming in if he's a different party.
And that creates chaos in the country.
And that's why we have the division that we have.
So you're saying then that the figurehead has become more powerful.
There's no question.
And then that's been the cause of the division.
To give you an example, Joe Biden in his first 3 months of the presidency issued more executive orders than President Obama did during his entire presidency. And every president, if you look at the line, starting with Lincoln going forward, every president has issued more executive orders than the previous president. And if the party switches, all of those executive orders get turned on their head.
All right.
So that's money. Think about the amount of money wasted with a modern president that can do so much to change society.
Yeah.
Either party, I don't care.
And he's in a position of impermanence. He's only there 4 years or 8 years.
And so
you know it's going to change every single time, every turnover. It's just like education, right? Every 5 years you get a new person in, 4 or 5 years, and then everything should. And
what's happened recently, I should add, is that presidents have weighed into moral issues and cultural issues with these executive orders. And in those cases, I think Americans should absolutely be completely free to disagree and not face any punishment for their position.
Yeah.
Culturally or morally, as long as you're not hurting anyone. Because that has
nothing to do, it should have nothing to do with legislation. It should have nothing to do with rules and laws, your morals,
so I'm calling,
your feelings, your beliefs.
I'm calling for disarming the president of his executive powers. Some of those, especially the executive orders, which were never part of the Constitution, actually.
Well, we don't
because what we've got going on right now, an uncivil war.
Yeah,
that's what's happening right now, and it's just laying carnage to our governmental system.
It is. It's broken. Absolutely.
And I'm just okay.
I like the schizophrenic idea.
That's what's happened to our country.
That's what society feels like now. Everything's schizophrenic because they tell you one thing and then they tell you the complete opposite. You don't know what to believe. This is why parents have
it's been weaponized.
And it's been building.
Yeah, even if you say, "Well, I don't have a position on that topic,"
then they get mad at you.
Both sides get mad at you for not taking a position.
Pick my side. No, pick my side.
And
everybody wants confirmation.
My position generally is 2 middle fingers up. If you're trying to force me to think what you want me to think, sorry.
Oh my God! And yet we continue.
Yeah.
And yet we continue, or we don't. Tomorrow's the eclipse. Either this episode will come out Wednesday.
Oh, that's true.
Or we will not be
currently
here.
This moment.
Yeah.
basically Schrödinger's podcast.
Apocalypse, or Schrödinger's podcast. That's what you'll have to call it. There's our title.
Oh, yeah.
How
recorded before the
how
eclipse.
Organic?
What's wrong with you, man?
I don't know. How
organic.
Thank you.
First you say organ.
Don't give me that look.
And then you go ick.
I misspoke. I didn't drop my T's.
Well, no, that's very important.
That's it. All right. So
I want people to start dropping the T's at the ends of words. You want to be really cool.
I like adding an S.
So instead of saying peanut, you'd go like peanut.
I like to add an S to the end of everything.
What's a kite? K.
Ka.
If you can drop them in the middle, why can't you drop them at the end?
Yeah, you could do it. I don't know. It's become very difficult to understand people. But we do know that men who mumble are more attractive to women. So
apparently so.
Maybe women who drop their T's are more attractive to men.
I've heard three different podcasts I listen to. I've heard women say the reason they find Vin Diesel sexy is because they can't understand what he's saying.
Well, then just shut up. Don't speak. Get a mute man. How about that?
But it's about family. You always understand him when he says that.
All right.
So anyway,
are we going to wrap?
I'm going to get off my. I got one last.
No, you need to wrap.
Okay, my last thing, and then I'll let you wrap.
Oh my God!
You said you wanted to wrap.
Like a second wing over here.
No, you said you wanted to wrap.
I do.
I just wanted to real quick.
Not like Blondie Rapture or anything.
Yeah, in Louisiana,
which we're facing tomorrow.
Well, I can talk about the Louisiana stuff next week. It's not going to pass anytime soon. But
are you going to give
the Republican
trailer?
Well, the Republican Party under Landry people out there, they're about to come up with an idea to give everybody money if they want to put their kid in a private school or homeschool them.
$15,000,
up to $15,000.
All right, ladies, you need to get having
Wait
babies.
A minute. That will cost $520 million a year. If you go back about 4 episodes, I said within the first 3 months of this administration, they would do something to completely bankrupt the state. Here it is.
Yeah, the deficit is here. We had it.
Yep. And they want to do a new constitution and take away the protections of public education and also the health industry in Louisiana.
All right. Well, we'll talk about that on another episode then.
Just like Jindal wanted to do. Yes. And so get ready, lube up.
So the money that the state had in their
the surplus
coffers,
is gone.
Yeah, the surplus is gone.
It's gone.
And we're in debt. So
yep.
Buck up, campers. You're going to have to pay the price.
Only $500 million a year.
Pay the price. All right. But that's too serious. We won't go there today because it'll take way too long and we'll just see what happens in the next week or so.
No, it'll be several weeks.
Oh, I thought they were having the session.
Well, the Constitution thing.
Oh, yeah. That'll take a while.
And it'll take a little time for this bill to move through. But
all right. So I've got my history part. I've been working in the yard quite a bit.
Well, that was yesterday. I don't think that really counts as history.
Over this week. Hang on.
Oh, okay.
Shut it. Over the last week, I've been doing a lot of yard work, starting to get the yard and the compound in order for the summer. And my father, being the wonderful man that he was, loved concrete planters. At one time, there were probably 12 or 15 on this property.
If you recall, there was also like a concrete table.
Yeah.
At one time.
Yeah. Concrete.
Yeah.
Daddy loved
the permanence of concrete.
And
he was a closet Roman.
That's it. Well, him and his damn concrete planters. And over the years now, as I've gotten older and have moved them everywhere across this property, me and my trusty dolly, hand truck. Hand truck. They've changed that word now. I can't call it a dolly, but it's a dolly to me.
We have moved them. You've moved them more than
I
myself.
have moved them much more than you.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so I've taken to letting go over the last 6 or 8 months. Every time I get some, I'm like, I'm not moving these. I take a picture. I put them for sale. Somebody is purchasing them. Well, now I'm down to his concrete gnomes.
Oh.
We have many concrete gnomes.
No, you can't.
I'm not going to. No.
The gnomes have to stay.
Okay. And that's where that rabbit hole began.
Ah, okay.
Gnomes history goes back to ancient Rome and mythology, right? Centuries of Western European tradition. I
thought they came from Alaska.
No, Alaska. No, and I don't know how gnome got their name, so you have to go do that research yourself.
Okay.
So one of the most common things, garden decorations, in the West. We encounter them everywhere. They're just scattered all over. And we don't think much about them, and they were considered good luck charms.
And they breed prolifically.
So from ancient Rome to modern traveling gnomes, they do breed prolifically. I'm going to skip that. Petite gnomes were found in ancient Rome. Earliest appearance of a garden gnome were statues in ancient Rome. Their forerunners were represented by the ancient gods, right? So it's just kind of a continuation of that. Most common among them was the god Priapus. He was a minor fertility deity.
Oh, wait a minute.
Hang on.
I know about him.
Okay. Originally came from Greek mythology. He was the protector of livestock, planting, and gardening. And his symbol of all this fertility was a permanent erection.
Yes.
So let's think back to garden gnomes.
Priapism is that permanently.
A permanent hard-on.
It's a medical dysfunction.
So now I want to see these gnomes.
Sure you do.
And they're out there. All you have to do is Google gnomes with permanent erections. Do it.
No.
You do that while I continue. So the primary function of the statues were to protect gardens from evil spirits, so you're going to have a successful harvest because you've got this permanently erect garden gnome.
Well, hang on. I'm going to put gnomes with, and let's see if we get, hang on.
Gnomes with.
Mushrooms?
No. Well, I guess a mushroom head. Right? If it's circumcised. And that's another question then. So the gnomes in ancient Rome with their permanent erections would not have been circumcised. What does it look like?
Well, actually, my problem is Google's not cooperating. Normally they jump right out there.
They just pop up a gnome.
There's
Shall
one.
I move forward in time?
Yeah, you can. There's one where he's in boxer shorts. Wait, let me make sure safe search isn't on.
Oh, I was going to say they might have put that on to help you
there we go.
So you're not blinded.
It doesn't matter. It's still not anything.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. So we go then.
There's one smoking a joint.
I don't think that was part of it.
And I put gnomes with erections. That was literally, so I'm probably going to get some really weird ads for porn.
Now you are. The algorithms are going now, buddy. So we move forward from ancient Rome and into the Renaissance era. And then they become grotesques.
Priapus. Oh.
You found what you needed?
Goodness.
Okay.
Oh, here's a gnome. He's got he's carrying something in the wheelbarrow.
Oh, okay. All right, stop there.
We got to get this for the garden.
Are you going to buy me garden decor?
Wait, here's a cement garden gnome that's on his stomach with a knife in his back.
That one happened on the Ides of March. That's a Julius Caesar gnome.
This one is great.
All right, I shouldn't have sent you there. I'm sorry.
No, you shouldn't have because this is hilarious.
Can I move forward?
Oh, please do.
We got to wrap, and this is an auditory, not a visual. So the audience is going to have to do this themselves. Here we go. Are you done?
No, go ahead. I'm listening.
No, you're not.
I am.
You are not.
I am listening.
Where are your eyes?
Right here on this Wikipedia article about Priapus.
Okay. So Renaissance era, the gnomes become grotesques because it's the Renaissance era, and Swiss alchemist Paracelsus was the first who described
Paracelsus. Right?
I don't know. I'm mispronouncing everything today. So you say what you want to say, and I'll say what I want to say.
No, I think
Paracelsus?
It was on Jeopardy the other day. I just remember the name.
Okay, Paracelsus. He was the first to describe them as creatures with magical powers, and they were elementals, right? They were one of the nature spirits, invisible to all things, invisible beings that existed among the humans, belonging to the earth, and that was part of the garden thing. So it's just really a continuation of what they were in ancient times. So they were called grotesques. They were then made ugly, little hunchbacks painted in garish bright colors, and they used the Italian word goby for the gnomes then.
Okay.
So in the 18th century, wealthy families began using them as garden ornaments. I don't know why wealthy families. I guess you don't pay for garden if you're poor, so maybe that's it. Popularity existed and persisted because of the folklore and myths and German fairy tales where gnomes and dwarves were presented, kind of like mythical helping creatures that would help you farm and still connect to that idea of good luck Everything goes back to good luck and prosperity and fertility. Then in Germany, some sculptor named Philip Griebel decided that it was going to spread across Europe. So he started creating these gnomes in great numbers, manufacturing them, producing them. So he was a visionary.
Clearly, yeah. That's
Then in 19th century, Sir Charles Isham bought several of those gnomes, brought them back to England because he had money, and they became lampy. They were nicknamed Lampy.
That's weird.
And they started using them in, family residences and the rich people again. And then it became just manufacturing of gnomes in Germany. They spread across Europe. And then we get to the 20th century.
Yeah.
So the modern era was not a boon for the gnomes. We had that, what do you call it? It was like WWI and then WWII.
Well, it was the Great War until it was World War I.
Well, unsurprisingly, gnomes weren't really a thing during that time. They weren't really worried about garden gnomes and such things because life was life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it declined for a bit. Then there was something in 1937 that happened that brought them back. Can you guess? 1937.
No.
All right. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Walt Disney released that film, which is actually in
the dwarf isn't a gnome.
I know. In the National Film Registry, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, that's a cultural icon, buddy.
Yeah.
And they restored garden gnomes, in
their status.
There you go, their status in the world. So mass production began. All sorts of materials, all sorts of styles. We did what we did. Capitalism, baby.
Capitalism.
And then in 1970, we had the wandering gnome, the traveling gnome. In France, a community called the Garden Gnome Liberation Front, started the prank.
Huh.
They would hijack and kidnap little gnomes, take them places, write diaries for them, take them for months on trips, take pictures, and then bring them back to their owners. And it was,
that's
and
pretty
it
cool.
was very elaborate. So the French really enjoyed this. They said they were freeing garden gnomes because they needed to travel. So they showed up at Big Ben. They showed up all over the place.
Everywhere.
The French also have a hand in all of this because of the iconic red cap on the gnomes.
Yes,
little red cap, the Farragon cap, goes all the way back to the Hellenistic period, and it was preserved you see it in Greek paintings, in vases, in sculptures, and then the French took it to be their revolutionary hat. The bonnet rouge was first documented in 1870, and that is what Marianne, the symbol of France, the national symbol, is wearing. She's wearing a Farragon cap.
Yeah.
And
I remember in the late 70s, there was that book. A bunch of people I knew had it too. It was really weird. It was like, I guess a lot of people just bought it because it was cute, but it had the gnome on the front and it was a front and a back. And it was basically a book about how gnomes lived, what they did.
Yeah, like their whole life,
created an entire mythos.
They have their own mythology. Well, that's where they stemmed from anyway, so it makes sense. It all really worked together quite well. I liked how each culture just picked up on some of the other traditions and continued. I don't know why we still don't have an erection gnome, because I think that would be a perfect commercial for like Cialis or Viagra or something. I could absolutely see a marketer using
book about the history, legends, house building, clothing, courtship, marriage, physiology of gnomes.
And they're mostly men.
Well, they got women in this book.
They do have female gnomes, but they're very rare. Mostly they're all men. So that's a weirdness on its own, especially when he's fertility. But
the cover of this is literally that gnome. Red hat, white beard, blue
hat.
Shirt, belt on the outside.
Isn't that interesting? Because, our episode on clothing and wardrobe, we were talking about the French and the toga and how they put the stola on Lady Liberty when they gave her, so for them, the symbol is the hat on Marianne as part of their independence and freedom.
That's
anyway,
cool.
Modern liberty, traced back to a garden gnome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
I told you I had some history.
Well, that was a nice little history.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, and now I'm going to take all of my my damn concrete garden gnomes and bring them together. Well, what I Googled was, should you display garden gnomes as a group, or should you put them individually out and about the garden? So I think I'm going to, right now they're individual and out and about.
I think you're going to bring them in
I
as
think
a
I'm
family?
going to bring them in together in one locale.
You got to paint them, though.
And I think they
kinda
need,
rough looking.
yeah.
And don't paint them with silver eyes like that one.
The green one. With
Yeah,
the
that was creepiest.
It was creepy.
Creepy
But
as
he's
could
got a little.
possibly be.
He's got gold. He's got a little wagon of gold. Not little. It's big. I'm not
Does he have a
joking when I
wheelbarrow
say
with-
these are. Yes, this is a damn heavy
Hang on.
task. It's hard to do now, and I'm going to probably sell 2 more concrete planters before I'm done. I'm going to keep a
I
couple.
won't mind.
But God, dog it, Daddy.
Yeah, it's a.
I don't hang on to things, but
And he brought those from Lake Charles when he moved out here.
absolutely. And he had nothing
He
out.
probably had them before that.
Oh, probably.
God, they were heavy.
I love that man, but Lord, every time I move him, I'm cursing him.
That's how you remember him.
Yes, indeed. All right, G.
So there you go.
Yeah, compound grows. Well, perfect fertility for Easter idea.
Yep.
That our compound is grown by 3.
Lots of different little stories.
We got a new dog. We got a daughter and her guy.
The Gnomes 30th Anniversary Edition. They came out in 2007.
Are you going to get me a concrete gnome with an erection? If you do, I will.
It's in a wheelbarrow.
I will put it on an internet. I will. Put it on.
I like it. It's actually, yeah.
Oh wait, but it's concrete.
Yeah.
Don't bring no.
They're all concrete. That's the point.
No, they're not. They're made with a multitude of materials.
They need to
now.
be made of concrete.
Oh, we're going to get Russell to 3D print me a garden gnome
It'll
in
be too
plastic with a permanent erection.
Oh, okay.
There, I put out the call.
There it is. That's our buddy.
I said it, make it so.
Yeah, if he can print a crossbow that shoots
He should
ball
be able
bearings,
to print me a garden gnome
with
Priapus.
a penis.
Nice.
Wow, we've really just fallen so low here. And this was such
Do
a
you know this
was
podcast?
such a highbrow podcast.
This was not. This was potpourri. We got to do whatever we wanted because we weren't prepared.
We've always only talked about the finest things.
No, I don't think so.
That's true.
Sometimes we do, but that's the joy, right? You can go highbrow, lowbrow.
I can do what I want.
I can do highbrow, lowbrow,
and do what I want.
and sometimes I can say words.
Ooh, words.
I can say words and pronounce them correctly.
In fact, this is 2024, so this will be the 4th year I've had my equipment.
Yes. Well, no, you've had your equipment longer than 4 years, baby.
No, the recording equipment.
Oh, the technical stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you going to get us out? I'm going to tell you that your joy is like a garden gnome with Priapus. It's portable. Put it in a damn wheelbarrow and take it with you.
There you go.
Bring it into the madness of the psychotic world.
Wave your joy around.
No, maybe don't wave it because somebody will.
Judging from this picture on Wikipedia, Priapus could.
And don't offer free cookies to children.
And yeah, well, it's a grocery store. It's not like they parked there.
I know. I was perplexed by the story too.
You would have thought the person at the store would have seen the kids before. Oh, well.
Parents, I don't envy you. It is a scary, scary place out there.
But know that
But your kids need freedom.
they're not
They
going to
have
learn
to be-
independence without it.
You got to train them.
You got to give them the information and trust they'll make the right decisions.
And yeah, I don't know.
Unless your kid's an idiot. In that case, keep
Put them in
keep your
bubble
thumb,
wrap.
Keep your thumb on them.
Put them in bubble wrap. All right.
A good
All right,
sound thrashing.
No, we're not whipping children anymore.
A fatal beating.
All right. Joy, take it with you.
You should.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do.
All right.
I'm going to go make some pasta salad.
And I'm going to bake some banana nut bread.
All right. Well, you heard the lady. Take your joy. Make it move around. I don't know. Assault a garden gnome. It's up to you. And we'll see y'all in
2.
2 weeks.
All right. Bye.
It was a little bit of a
I don't know how that occurred from the last time we sat here.
I move things around when you're not around.
And then you bitch at me about that.
Well, yeah, but I'm the professional.
Moving things? Oh, I don't think so.
Yes, I am a professional.
You're a professional at moving things to places they don't belong.
I'm a professional.
So that I can't find that shit.
I'm a professional at moving
At-
professional equipment.
Making me lose my mind.
Yeah, well.
I make things better when I move them.
Sure.
Yes, I do.
Really? Where's my sword?
I told you, I think it's under a bed.
But you're not sure.
Well, we only have 2 beds in the house now, so...
Well, I think the person that
it's in a
misplaced
closet. I didn't misplace it. I placed it
which
somewhere.
should be prominently displayed somewhere in the living room or sub-living room area.
There is still a sword in there. If shit goes bad,
that's a dagger. That is not a sword.
I can in close fighting.
It's a dagger.
I got in
I
close.
need reach. If you don't find my sword, I'm going to buy a glaive. There. Okay.
I got 2 spears in the shed you can use.
They're not real spears. I need a real glaive.
Let's get a scythe.
And no, actually, I want the ball-bearing crossbow that Russell printed.
It's 3D printed.
It shoots a big-ass ball bearing.
TSA is going to be lost. How are they going to get everything that comes through?
Oh my
That's
God.
been plastic.
He said
printed.
it took forever to print, but I mean, he just printed it all up.
You just set it up and it just goes.
Yeah.
You don't have to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's $20 for a spool of plastic.
It
and
seems pointless to say the future is weird.
It was just black and gray plastic, and like you said, $20 a spool, and he said one spool of each color, he said, was more than enough to print the whole thing.
All right.
Then you just buy a short little crossbow string, and
boom, you got a weapon.
And on Amazon, it sells for $230.
But once you get all the equipment and everything, and then you've got it to print something else.
That's pretty amazing.
It is pretty amazing.
$230.
The future. I am not denying that the future is
I think
amazing.
I think it's pretty
befuddled. I'm befuddled about it all.
And there we go. I don't know. Does it sound okay? I don't know. Do I sound?
I think it sounds fine.
Are you sure?
I am. I bet I'm not in a vehicle or at work listening to us ramble on. So
that's true.
It's my reality.
Yeah.
So there we are.
Yeah.
Are you going to push the button soon?